everybody. Montana Volleyball returns to the road this week. We will start it off with questions for Coach Lawrence. Fire away.
Awesome. Coach, we'll just kind of recap this last week, senior day, getting the sweep, obviously, and, it's still right up in the top of the standings. Just kind of how this last week go and then celebrating the seniors as well.
Yeah, it was really meaningful. I think every team between Thursday and Saturday had lots to play for. And I think I'm just really proud of how our team prepared. I knew we would use all the extra emotions that we had towards our seniors and towards our last home games in Dahlberg to channel our focus and be really, just hyper prepared. And that showed itself. So I'm really proud of our efforts, our work ethic, and how hard we played for each other. It was great to honor the seniors.
You back off that with the seniors. It's, it's two transfers. It's two girls who've been here the whole time with Lexi and Maddie. What can you say about them and just what they've done for this program and for this season? That's been, one of the best seasons in program history in quite a while.
Yeah, I think our both transfers, Carly and Liv, did, I think, such a rare job of honoring what had been done before here, kind of coming in and I think really waiting and watching and listening and learning before they brought any sort of opinions or any of their own things here, and then brought that with such authenticity after that. So I think they were able to just blend in a way that you want when anybody new joins, especially when you're older and more experienced, but then make it their own in the best, most mature, kind of loving way. And then I think Lex and Maddie have been so committed in the off season. They were freshmen when we had our last kind of 17 win season. And so I think their commitments, they knew what it took, and their commitments to have another one of those seasons that kind of bookend their years, I think was outstanding. So very proud of all of them. And then I think they all just took such good care of the team throughout all the ups and downs this year.
Starting on Wednesday, it's kind of a whirlwind week, right? When you look at the two road games and then the conference tournament in Greeley, just what's, I guess, the approach, right? Where it's a lot of road trips and obviously then the conference tournament and, playing for playoffs at that point. Just what's the approach to, this final stretch run here?
Yeah, I think our team benefits from being together more. That's not the case for every team. I think some breaks are good for some teams, but I think we're going to benefit, and our chemistry will be even stronger. Our unity will be even stronger. So I think that extra time spent together will benefit us. We're going to have to find rest on the road, and we're managing a lot of academics on the road for sure. So I think we have some highly professional athletes who know how to get their stuff done and be at their best when it's needed. So I think we'll manage it well. It feels no different than preseason, honestly, just with how back-to-back road trips and all of that stuff. So I'm excited, and we have some extra team time built in there. So I think it'll be a great way to also celebrate an outstanding season at the same time as kind of still being in it.
Kind of going off of that, being the position you're in, do you use the last couple games to throw in any or try any new wrinkles and get some people rest? Or is it, no, we want to go full throttle going into the tournament?
Yeah, I think those situations, I always try to imagine, okay, if this happens, we're going to do this, and build those plans in, and try to test as many things as we can before going into the tournament. And then you get into a game and the scenario is a little bit different than you think, and you need to do what you need to do in that moment. So I will be prepared. Our team will be prepared to test out a lot of different variations of us and try to get as much experience into our whole roster as we can going into the tournament. And if matches are tight and sets are tight, which I think there will be, we're going to play to win and play to be the best team in every point. So I think it'll matter, or I think it'll come down to the moment. But we'll be ready for any scenario.
I know last week I asked you about playoff seeding and things like that. There's too many matches in between, but now that we're in the final weekend, are we kind of looking around? Is there a spot that you want to be? And I know I think the top two play each other, right? So there could be a chance that you maybe can move up. So.
Yeah, I think mathematically, or just how I'm looking at it with how our three-way ties work in volleyball in our conference, I think the best we're doing probably is fourth, and I think the worst we're doing is probably fifth. So I think the likelihood of us being in that 4-5, which would be the same matchup regardless of if we're 4 or 5 in our bracket. So I think that's where we're putting a slight amount of energy into just preparing for or imagining. But then again, I'm depending on how many ties, it could get wonky. So yeah, I think we're prepping in that way. And there are some knowns in that are really nice, but we've beaten everybody in the conference at least once, except for UNC. And we won't be playing them. So I think our prep against a team that we've had success against before will feel good and be a confidence boost. And then we'll go from there.
Coach, I was curious if you saw the match between NAU and Idaho State, the set that went to like somewhere in the 40s, something like that. I was curious if you ever played or coached in anything like that. And as a coach, what do you say? What would you say maybe in a timeout in a game like that?
Yeah, we kind of had it on our phones just because, it kind of caught my eye that the score was so high. But yeah, I was wondering if all their DSs were just in because you run out of subs, when you get to like 23s at that point. So it was interesting. I didn't watch it. But yeah, I think in those moments, those are you just play point for point. You compete. Those are fun. They're really rare. So I've never been in a set like that. But at that point, you just kind of sit down, let your players either do it or not do it. That would be my approach. Thanks, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.